Happy Monday, everybody, and happy President's Day. My name is Heather Coleman, your intuitive medium and spiritual guide. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, a little late tonight because I was out of town visiting my daughter. So here we are. If you're on, say hello. If you're on live, and let me know that you're here. In the meantime, we started part one a week ago today of a 4-part series. And if you missed that, you can scroll down my page and check it out. Part one of this series, we talked about the root chakra, which is at the very base of your spine, and the root or etheric layer of your aura, which is closest. It's like maybe half an inch from your skin in a grid. Talked about that last week. This week, we're going up 2 chakras out of those 7 main. So we're kind of moving upward along the torso and upward and outward along the aura. And so our next chakra up after the root chakra, which is also considered red, so you think root and then sacral. We're talking about sacral today. So that would be pant zipper, front and back, and sides. Now the sacral chakra is associated with the color orange and with exercise. So I've noticed, especially in more recent years, how many gyms and fitness centers have orange along the walls, or even in their name, Orange Theory Fitness. So exercise, pleasure, and creativity all originate, or we could say interact with the energy of the sacral chakra. So it's our passion and pleasure center. It's our relationships, among other chakras, but emotions that are very strong, especially in new relationships. That energy originates from our sacral chakra. Again, it is associated with the color orange, and so also is the layer of the aura, which is our emotional layer. Again, that color, the orange, is also associated with that emotional layer of our aura. So if you can envision colored circles coming outward gradually up to about 4 feet from our body. We talked about how we have our etheric layer associated with that root chakra, about a half inch or so from our physical. Next, about here-ish, give or take, would be our emotional layer. So that's where we would say the heaviest concentration of emotional energy lies, is in that part of our aura. So let's say you've just had an extremely happy thing happen. I'll give you an example. I was at one of my favorite events of all time, the Flurry, formerly called the Dance Flurry. So joyful for me. Music, again, sacral chakra. I did so much dancing and just having fun with like-minded people who value music and dance. So you can bet my sacral chakra was like, And one thing I want to point out is, when a chakra or layer of the aura is overbalanced or overactive, sometimes we can have a tendency to overdo it. And I'll tell you guys, just to kind of show you how these things work, I hadn't been to the Flurry in years, and I was so excited and so happy that I danced like crazy. And I'm a fitness professional. I teach a lot of classes, but I am sore from dancing at the festival. The most sore I've been in many, many, many years, and I've been teaching a lot of fitness. Now, why did that happen? Well, I was so happy, so excited, so joyful. Hormones come up, cortisol, not cortisol, the opposite, dopamine, serotonin, that I was just having so much fun. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that once in a while, but it just goes to show that the people that we might meet who tend to overindulge in the pleasures of life, how that can be harmful. But again, me doing this once in a great while, not a biggie. It was good for me. But again, it kind of can show us what can happen. So you meet someone who is always exercising, they're always sore. Could be that they like exercising so much there's a little of an overbalance in that sacral chakra. That actually could also overlap with the next layer, so it's a perfect segue to talk about the solar plexus, which is associated with our mental layer. Now, it might surprise you to hear that, if anyone you know, maybe they overdo exercise a bit, or maybe they have a little bit of trouble letting go of the perfect fitness program, or feeling like they have to train enough. And I've met people like this over the years working in fitness. Believe it or not, you might think that that would be associated with our etheric body, or sort of like the next layer out of our physical body. No. In other words, people that tend to maybe overexercise or get too carried away with the sculpting, the bodybuilding, or marathon running. And that's not to say people who do those things are imbalanced in and of itself, but people who take it to an excess to where it becomes unhealthy. That would actually indicate overactivity in the solar plexus chakra and the mental layer of the aura. So it just goes to show how these things really do interact. Now, the mental layer of our aura is generally associated with the color yellow, and it would be the third stripe out. So beyond the limits of my camera here, probably about a foot to 2 feet out, depending on the moment in time and on the person, because the layers do sort of overlap and sift and interact. Diagrams will have it look like this, like I'm going to go really little, so little circle, bigger, 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 7 out. But the reality is that our auras are permeable, they interact, and there's overlap. If you can picture like spaghetti, when you're going to cook spaghetti, how your linguine can all kind of merge, but there are still separate strands. Your aura is kind of like that. Or your hair, you know how your hair can kind of all intertwine and get braided, but they're still separate parts. So talking a little bit more about that mental layer of the aura, which is again third ring out of the 7 main parts that are connected and associated with those 7 main chakras. Third chakra up is our solar plexus chakra, connected to that mental layer, just above the belly button. So from about belly button to chest, I know you can't see me, but if you can just envision belly button to just under the chest, brow line for women, front, back, and sides, the color yellow. Now, we talked about how the root chakra is associated with physical body, our material aspect, so our home, our income. We went up to sacral chakra, which is pant zipper, front and back, emotions, passion, pleasure, creativity. Then right up to just above the belly button, solar plexus, ambition, focus, self-confidence, drive, mental habits. So we could say that your mental health, again, is going to show up everywhere, but concentrated more than anywhere else. If you want to gauge how mentally healthy is a person, look at their solar plexus chakra and the mental layer of their aura. So let's just look at, again, an example of overactivity in that chakra and layer of the aura could be someone that overdoes exercise, or underactivity could be someone that underdoes exercise. Maybe they're sort of puffy and don't move much, you know. And some other signs that the mental layer, solar plexus chakra, could be overactive would be some aggressive behavior, overthinking, overanalyzing, having trouble sleeping at night because the mind won't shut off. Oh, that's me. Some signs that area could be underactive. Again, puffiness, being overweight, but not just maybe extra pounds, but sort of a real squishy overweight. So in other words, someone who doesn't have a lot of energy and drive. Drive is what gets us out of bed, whether we feel like it or not. So again, we might say that no one ever fully wants to get out of bed because it's a transition. Transitions are tough, but people who have a lot of trouble motivating themselves to do what they need to do, underactive solar plexus chakra, mental layer to the aura. So those are just some examples. This is just sort of brief overview. And again, that's why we're having 2 circles on this very important topic. We have a Saturday circle happening on the 25th of February, which is this coming Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m., $25. You can get your ticket right through my website. It includes a guided meditation specifically addressing the aura and the layers of our aura, and then the individual readings are done in a pattern, so sort of an organized series of messages that flow from the beginning to the end, not directed by me, but directed by the conglomeration of spirit guides gathering. So mine, yours if you're there, everyone who is there. Everyone gets an individual reading, but I really like to point out that your reading is exactly where it is in the order of people. Let's say we've got 12 people and your reading happens to be number 7. It doesn't just happen to be anything. It's not random. It's been chosen so that we learn and we heal and hear and grow specifically through that circle. So it's really cool. You get your concentrated reading that's really personalized to you, and you're learning and you're benefiting from all of the readings. My circles, the people that come are just amazing, tend to be very encouraging, open-minded, supportive to one another. So we're all learning together. So Saturday circle is on February 25th. Sunday circle is going to be happening on March 12th. So again, go right to my website. I'll get those, actually going to be putting those links up from the homepage tonight, and you can also go to the services page. And just real quickly, I want to thank everyone so much that came out to our very first real-time guided meditation this past Friday. It was amazing. The next one is March 17th. I'll post that as well. So everyone, thank you for joining me. If any of you had some burning questions that popped up that you would like to see explored in more depth in another Learn video, send me a DM or a comment. Reach out to me if you think you might be needing an individualized reading or aura clearing. In other words, one of the things we look at in aura clearings is if your aura is out of balance somewhere in one of these layers, I will enlighten you mentally to what you can do to work on that on your own, as well as manually. And when I say manually, I don't mean touching your skin, but I will clean and clear your aura using crystals, using Reiki, and a bunch of modalities. So everyone, thank you again so much for being here. Don't be a stranger. Reach out. My website is heatherlcoleman.com. Much peace, much love, and namaste.